Ever since Star Wars has been popular, there have always been Star Wars fan films, passion projects by indie filmmakers who want to play in the vast sandbox George Lucas created. Enter the abomination. Now, I would usually never make a video like this, trashing a fan film. As a very small filmmaker myself, I never want to be a critic of small indie productions like these, let alone bigger movies in pop culture. But I feel like I can make an exception here. You see, kids, this here is Star Wars Theory. He used to make what-if type of videos and give tidbits on Star Wars lore. Thinks If Star Wars Explained was a little pretentious. For the most part, he was pretty popular, and eventually started making his own Star Wars fan film about Darth Vader. And it was during this time he let his true colors show. When his fan film got copyright claimed for using copyrighted music, he made a trilogy of videos about how Disney was attacking him and bullying him and being mean. Then he made a video about how Lucasfilm supposedly told Disney to lift the ban, despite them being the exact same company. About a year later, he found out that he could grift off people's unnatural hatred for Disney Star Wars, and thus started to do streams with notorious human-pig hybrid Geeks and Gamers, changed his reviews of Rise of Skywalker, bullied a kid on the public livestream.
I think we can get along as a fandom, and it's just up to us. I think, Star Wars is all about a choice to be better.
And
is now giving consistently the most head-ass takes.
Essay in Star Wars feels unnecessary. Vader wouldn't tolerate that shit, nor does the Empire condone it.
Why the fuck are you a volunteer Nazi safety advocate is my question.
So yeah, Star Wars Theory has been disavowed by most Star Wars fans on the internet, and that's why I feel like it's okay to bully him about his Vader. He makes a hella amount of money, which is a luxury most indie filmmakers don't have. So yeah, let's begin. Vader Episode 1, Shards of the Past. So right off the bat, this fan film kinda looks like the lighting is too wonky, the fight choreography is ass, and the camera perspective is odd, and it's set to look like one of those soap operas you'd see when you leave the TV on CBS all night. And if you think I'm being mean to a small indie production, hear me out. His fan films are so expensive that they've gotta be some sort of money laundering scheme. The budget for this 12-minute video was reportedly $164,000, and was looking to be $200,000 for his CG animated sequel. And somehow they look worse than not only a lot of Star Wars fan films, but indie movies, which have micro budgets. And if you don't believe me, that Darth Maul fan film that everyone loves is a fraction of that at $25,000. It looks better in every way. It looks like something that could be produced by HBO. Where's the money, Theory? Where's the money? Where's the money? So the film opens with Darth Vader choking out Palpatine and his clone troopers shooting at him, and among Vader killing these clones, he kills Commander Wolffe, who is not in charge of the Coruscant Guard, it's Commander Fox. You know Google is free, right, Theory? I don't care if you don't know, just fucking look it up. You've watched the Clone Wars. Then once they're dead, he goes back to choking Palpy when more clones arrive. This part here always represents to me how petty Theory can be. Just to appeal to the people who hate Disney Star Wars by trying to one-up them. Hey, remember when Kylo Ren stopped a laser mid-air? Well, Vader can stop 1,000 of them. That's right, Disney. Then Vader starts cussing out Palpatine, blaming him for Panda Bear's death. And Palpatine is just kinda like, nuh-uh.
Foolish boy. You grieve for the dead wife of an insolent Jedi. Your precious Padme's fate was your choice. Just as your fate is mine.
And while we're here, if there's one thing I will give credit to this fan film for, is that the guy who's playing the Emperor is doing a really good job. He's having the time of his life being evil. The kind of evil that's very, very infectious. This guy emulates Ian McDermott very well, and that's about all the nice things I have to say about this movie, so let's get back to it. So Palpatine is right about to electrocute Vader, and while lightning travels at the speed of light, Vader is about to pull this dead guard just in time to absorb the lightning. I don't know whether Theory knows how fast lightning actually travels, or this is an editing mistake. Either way, I'm not mad, Theory. I'm just disappointed. And instead of summoning his lightsaber to deflect the lightning, Vader uses the Force to throw the lightsaber at the Emperor, and we get this ridiculous shot and interaction. This was choreographed by a toddler. For some reason, there are people in the comments talking about this fan film like it's the second coming of Christ, how it's supposedly better than anything Disney has ever made. Like this comment right here. Go play in the freeway, King of History 4 numbers, you piece of... Anyways, Vader kisses Palpatine full on the lips, then chokes him harder until he gets tired. And then while Vader is gathering himself, he has a vision about the first time he met Padme, and now he's upsetty spaghetti by the weight of his sins, when Padme seemingly comes back to life and hugs him. But don't get too excited, because it's Sheev Palpatine catfishing Vader, starts tickling him with his lightning thingies. However, 'twas but a dream. None of this ever happened.
Can't stand the dream sequences. Why do they do that in the movie? If there's anything that annoys an audience, it's the dream sequence. I hate that stunt. It's old, it's cheap, it's a lousy gimmick.
Not to mention, making this a dream sequence makes this entire fan film a ripoff of this Darth Vader comic where he's bleeding his kyber crystal, and it shows him a vision of what life could be if he betrayed Palpatine and sought forgiveness from Obi-Wan, sending him down the path of the light, before he ultimately comes to terms with his decisions he made and decides to live with them. A heartbreaking story that betrays Anakin's deepest fears and insecurities, and how he feels he can never go back to the life he once had. Remove all nuance and subtlety, strip away Vader's internal conflict, and you get Vader Shards of the Past, where Vader's resolution is, oh well, it is what it is. So compelling. Bravo, Vince. So the Emperor summons Vader to ask him what's on his mind. He feels that Vader is mad at him and asks Vader to strike him down and kill him. He seems very insistent about him, calling him weak, and it culminates in him begging Vader for him to end it all. Poor Palpatine. He needs some therapy. Then this fan film pulls the dumbest possible.
A powerful Jedi survives in the mid-rim.
No. Come on. Please, no.
It is no coincidence. He draws you there because he knows who you are.
Don't be where I think this is going.
The clones that report he wields an amethyst blade.
How is that possible?
Power.
Then we get to Naboo. Vader looks down in this pit where a Jedi is. We see a purple glow, and the movie ends. That's it. There's no falling action. There's no conclusion. We have to wait till Part 2 comes out. And Star Wars Theory's marketing for Vader Part 2 is basically just spoiling the fact that Mace Windu returns. Now hear me out. I've had people disagree with me on this take, but if Mace Windu were ever to return, I'd want him to return to be an antagonist in a Boba Fett story. Now you may disagree with me, but there's still a lot you can do there. Their rivalry was never really solved in Clone Wars, even then he was a kid. And there's an internal conflict you can do with Mace Windu, like how Mace felt serving with an army wearing the face of a father he killed, and Boba learning to let go of his hatred for not necessarily all Jedi, but this one. In fact, I think they were supposed to do a subplot like that in the Revenge of the Sith movie before it was removed. And while Star Wars fans are frustrated by the impermanence of death in Star Wars, I have no doubt that Star Wars Theory's cultists will for this too. And thus the credits roll. How convenient. A list of all the people I need to snap the kneecaps of. Thanks, Theory. Anyway, that's it. Vader sharts his pants. What an awful chain of events. I wonder how Theory pitched this abortion of a story. Alright guys, so Vader, he's gonna kill Palpatine and fight some clones. But turns out Palpatine is alive and catfishes Anakin as a 14-year-old Padme. But then, it was all a dream. Then Palpatine tells Vader to go kill a Jedi. Who's the Jedi? Well, watch part 2 in the year 2020 never to find out. If I was a filmmaker and he came into me with this pitch, I would have shot him dead right where he stood. This should have never gotten past pre-production. Maybe all that $160,000 was going towards bribing as many people as he could to make this happen. While I don't like making videos roasting fan films, I do take extreme pleasure in deconstructing vanity projects born from a narcissistic man baby. Easiest 1 out of 10 in my life, see me after class. While I'm here though, I would like to recommend a few other good fan films that you could be watching instead. Starting with Jakku First Wave, a neat little look into the mind of a few stormtroopers before the Battle of Jakku. As I mentioned previously, Darth Maul Apprentice. It has some of the best fight choreography in a fan film and shows how vicious Darth Maul can be when being watched by Palpatine. Han Solo, A Smuggler's Trade. Starring the always charismatic Jamie Costa, it's a fun little Han Solo adventure where he saves Chewbacca from this weird Force artifact collector. It's the closest we'll ever get to a sequel to the Han Solo movie, and it happens to be exactly what I want from a Han Solo story. The Last Padawan 1 and 2. An incredible effort by Rebel Pictures, it's the closest a fan film has ever gotten to looking like a big budget movie. It's about a Padawan overcoming an Inquisitor while joining a rebellion group. If you want to see a Star Wars fan film that has the same visual quality as Rogue One, definitely check out The Last Padawan 1 and 2. And finally, Yard Wars. Technically isn't a fan film, but a collection of home movies made by no-budget productions. They're witty, funny, and full of heart. Everything Star Wars Theory is not. I think the funniest one of these episodes is Yard Wars 5, the election episode. Give these lads a watch. You won't regret it.